this might be a bit controversial, but in the same way, I think many people choose to look past the reality of what our country is, the standards that we now stand on. We can't ignore the reality of the history. But in many ways, I think certain people are prosecuted and maybe not recognized for the greatness, that they offer. I don't have anything negative to say about Sean Combs because my experience was not what the world has seen and how he's been, misrepresented. I'm not saying that every man is perfect. I'm not saying that all of us don't have flaws, but I can't, with any sense of humanity, not recognize the valuable contributions that this man made for us as Black entrepreneurs, for us as businessmen, for us as people who transition, culture and ideas into something that's tangible and becomes business. So many people benefited from what he created, and I acknowledge that. And that's why I see him as legacy.
Hello, everyone. So, Usher's comment about Diddy has gone viral and everyone is talking about it. But before I hopped on social media to put my 2 cents in, I wanted to watch the video in its entirety so that I don't take anything out of context. Usher's comment came from a YouTube video posted by Forbes magazine. Forbes magazine is a business finance magazine that is famous for publishing their annual list of the richest people in the world. Now, the video was a 40-minute interview where Usher spoke about an initiative he is doing in Detroit where he donated $1 million for a program in conjunction with the Boys and Girls Club. The interview was about the $1 million donation. It was about investing. It was also about business deals. So, earlier in the interview, Usher gave props to his mother for her entrepreneurial spirit. He also gave props to Pebbles. He said that she was an important person at LaFace Records, a record company that L.A. Reid and Babyface founded together back in the 90s, in which the record label that Usher signed on to when he was first starting out. So for a long time, Usher was part of the LaFace record roster. And so he also mentioned in the interview that he has 4 kids, including 1 daughter. So for him to make the comment about Diddy, I hate to say this because I have been a fan of Usher since the 90s, since his first album came out. I've mentioned this in previous videos that I've done, that I was also a longtime fan of Diddy since the 90s. So what I'm about to say, this is not something that I am enjoying at all. But when people reveal themselves to you, you have to see it for what it is. And you have to believe who they are, okay? Action speaks volumes, and what you say and what you don't say speak volumes. So I'm just going to keep it real. Usher comes off as a hypocrite. There, I said it.
I moved to New York City. And I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp?
Yeah, that's what it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's.
He's in the 90s. Do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I mean, but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place. And I didn't necessarily understand it.
Biggie Smalls was there.
Biggie Smalls was there. Lil' Kim, Craig Mack.
All these people are hanging around.
Yeah, man. Faith Evans.
And your
Jodeci,
parents were
Mary J.
okay?
Blige, they didn't know nothing about this shit.
Oh.
I was having a good time, you know what I mean?
You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to puffy camp?
Hell no.
See?
Now, another thing that I have to point out is this is an example of black men not looking out for black women. What do I mean by that? Diddy is in prison right now because of a criminal court case. He still has civil cases pending. He not only did Cassie dirty, there are black women who Diddy did wrong. That includes Dawn Richards, one of the original members of Danny Kane. That is one of these civil cases that are now pending. Now, I studied business in grad school, and I learned at the start of my grad school work that the purpose of business is to make money for your shareholders. If you are making a profit, it's a business. If you are not making a profit, it's not a business. Now, you don't have to go to grad school to learn that. I'm just saying, okay? However, what I am happy to see is that there is a change in perspective when it comes to business that I have been observing for the past 20 years. People are seeing the cons of capitalism and trying to figure out what to do about it. People are also paying attention to whether or not the value of companies line up with their values. And that's what we saw last year. Black folks said, look, we are going to boycott Target by not buying, by not spending at Target. Then there is the second boycott that took place last September. Black women said, look, we will stop doing business with the beauty supply industry. Their values don't match up with our values. We feel disrespected. So the problem with Diddy is not the legacy that he created. It is how he created that legacy. If you watch the Netflix documentary, you see that Diddy was very good at capitalizing bad situations. He organized an event at City College. Some people lost their lives. He released he took the negative publicity and capitalized on it. Biggie Smalls got murdered. He released a song, Missing You. He capitalized on that, made more money, became more popular than he was before Biggie died. He was involved in a nightclub incident when he was dating J-Lo. What happened? Rapper Shine goes to jail for 10 years. Diddy's life continues. He becomes even more popular. Every time a bad situation comes up, Diddy capitalized on it. He became even more famous. He made even more money. Then he gets a deal with MTV. He is on MTV with the show Making the Band. Okay? This is how, over the course of 20, 30 years, Diddy was able to create a fortune worth $750 million. He was on his way to becoming a billionaire. Okay? Why? Because every time a bad situation comes up, he capitalized on it and he made more money and achieved more fame. Okay? I'm not making this up. It's all there in the documentary, folks. All you gotta do is watch it. Now, word has it that musical acts on the Bad Boy records did not make the money that they deserved to make. That was also covered in the Netflix documentary. So Diddy built wealth at the expense of other people. Now, I followed Diddy's trial. I watched the Netflix documentary. I was a fan of Diddy. Okay, I read a lot. So now, listening to Usher, I gotta ask these questions. Did he follow the trial? Did he watch the documentary? Does he read on a daily basis? There is a growing trend in this country right now. Many Americans don't read. We have numerical data that backs that up, showing that more women read books. Women read more books per year than men. Okay? And you got YouTube videos on this data. Okay? Women read more books than men per year. Okay? Another thing that I have to point out, besides him sounding like a hypocrite, Usher also sounds like an enabler. Because this conversation got brought up right after the Netflix documentary. People were saying that the only way that Diddy was able to get away with this for so long is because he had enablers. Okay, so I'm sorry. Usher sounds like another enabler. This is another reason why, in my opinion, this looks like more proof as to how the hotel surveillance video was hidden from the public for 8 years. Diddy physically assaulted Cassie in the hotel hallway back in 2016. That video was created back in 2016. The video was founded and publicized in 2024 after Cassie settled the domestic violence case. So if her lawyers knew about the existence of the video, they probably would not have settled, because when she settled, she got less money than what she sued for. So the attitude is, forget about Cassie's career. She signed a 10 album deal, only to release one album, and became famous for being Diddy's girlfriend. Forget about Dawn Richards. Diddy sabotaged her career. Forget about Diddy's victims. That's what I saw when Usher made that comment. Forget about Diddy's victims. Why? Because to him, Diddy was one of the people who transformed hip-hop from an underground culture to a worldwide business. Diddy was a great businessman. But forget about the fact that he victimized a long list of people, including women. No. No. No one is going to talk about the price you pay for making money, regardless of who you hurt and who gets robbed in the process. Shame, shame, shame.